All right, so the second choice for your graphite project is to practice shading on actual forms or an actual still life. So in order to do that, you are going to need to complete this practice with geometric forms. So what you are going to do, if you're in the classroom, you can get this worksheet. However, you don't need to. In fact, I think it's good to freehand draw and learn how to draw these shapes before you do it by looking at a still life. But you are going to draw 5 different shapes: cylinder, sphere, cone, pyramid, and cube. And then you are going to shade 3 of them to make them look 3-dimensional. So how do I do this? I'm going to start with my 2B pencil. A cylinder is basically an oval or an ellipse, 2 straight lines down, and then another curve. Now this curve matches this curve. So there is one. The next one's a circle. If you want to get a circle tracer, you can. So circle is number 2. I'm actually not that concerned about it being perfect, but if you would like to, you can trace it. The next one is a cone. Here's a cone, curve on the bottom. So your forms might look a little different. Let's say you want to do a taller cylinder. You can certainly do that, or a shorter one. I would say the sphere should be about the size of a quarter, maybe a little larger. But if you want your cone to be wider and shorter, you can do that. The next thing's a pyramid. So pyramid is straight lines, we're going to have this side go back in space that way, that side go back in space that way, and then we have a cube. So to do a cube, a lot of you already know how to do a cube, but I think the easiest way, draw a square, draw these 3 parallel lines, cut off here, cut off here. So you need 5 different types, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a couple versions of those. Then you are going to use all 3 pencil grades. And you are going to make sure each one of these, well, you're going to pick 3 of them, pick 3 to shade, has a full range of value. So this might be where you want to reference. You might want to look at how to shade forms. You want to look at maybe photographs of a sphere or photograph of a cone, because that's going to help you see where to map out these values, the darker, medium, and lighter values, to make it look 3-dimensional. So this all depends on a light source. This is a more complicated concept, so I do want you to use references, but the idea on a curved surface is the area of the object that is closest to the light source, so that's the closest part on the sphere, is the lightest. And then as the object curves away, it gradually gets darker. So here, this is the lightest part. It's the closest to the light source, and then it gradually fades to darker because that object fades away. So pick 3 of those. 2 of them will have to have transitions on it because they're going to be curved. With the sphere, it's really important to start with this very curvy moon type shape and then fade out to like a circle. I like to do that to help map my values. I'm going to use my 2B now, but when I am finished shading my sphere, and there's probably a lot of videos on how to shade a sphere, and I would go look for those. When I'm done shading the sphere, it is going to have my darkest values, medium, and then white. Same thing with this cylinder here. My darkest values are over here. I'm using my ebony pencil for that. Then I have overlapping with my 2B pencil as it fades into the medium. And then finally, I'm going to fade into the lighter values with my H pencil. So this can be a good guide for you to match the shading on here. I see this got erased. So the darkest part of my sphere is over here. Now, the reason this gets lighter here, if you watch some videos, there is some reflected light coming off of the table on this particular drawing. So if you want to include that, you can. Otherwise, you could continue just to be very, very dark. But notice these transitions are fading gradually. I will use all of my pencil grades because I'm going to have all of my values, dark, medium, light, white, when I shade. So you only have to shade 3 of these before you move on to the project.